come back now? After 5 years, doing who knows what.
As technically the biggest PlayStation 5 exclusive ever. Number 1, we have here the second game in the Final Fantasy VII Remake trilogy, going by Rebirth, which basically follows up on the divisive ending of Final Fantasy VII Remake, and you probably know this already, but taking place in an alternative timeline, meaning the story is a tad different than the first game. Anyway, Square Enix announced the game will release early next year for PCs, PlayStation 5, and no longer on the PlayStation 4.
They say she's a monster, that she can peer inside you, into the very depths of your soul, that she can become those you hate, those you fear, those you love.
Free you yet.
You murdered my dad! You burned my village!
You know that I killed her. So, who is she?
Announced a week ago after an almost 6 months of silence with an update trailer, we've got over here Project TH, which is, in case you missed out on, a Splinter Cell inspired shooter, but only in camera angles and a tad gameplay. But it's more of a cinematic style, technically described by developers as a story-heavy action third-person stealth shooter, which is also coming out of Korea. Project TH is now said to be coming out rather late 2023 or early next year. Take a look.
By your side, close your tired eyes and I'll wait. And soon I'll see your smile.
Number 3, we have the sequel to one of the most beloved open-world survival horror stealth games in the gaming industry, of course, the Death Stranding. You see, Kojima said the sequel is hitting only PCs and the PlayStation 5 simultaneously. Unfortunately, as for some gameplay, even though we know that this is some in-game footage for cutscenes, we've only received the cinematic at the Game Awards, and what we are sure about is that the Death Stranding 2 is one of the most anticipated of the years to come.
And I still hear your heartbeat.
Alright guys, look, if Nintendo made a fortune out of Splatoon games, so will Square Enix, apparently. The same folks who were making Final Fantasy VII Remake we just mentioned are making a very much Splatoon-inspired action multiplayer going by the name Foamstars, which is basically this non-lethal shooting game where players make use of foam to influence the terrain and environment to their favor. Anyway, the trailer over here pretty much showcases a decent amount of it. The game itself will come out early to mid next year. Not to be confused with Sword of Convalaria, pixel art game. Number 5, we have just the word Convalaria, published by Sony Interactive itself last year as a multiplayer third-person shooter, or what was previously considered as the main game for the China Hero project, right alongside the games such as Lost Soul Sight and other ones. Convalaria is said to be coming out for next generation of consoles only by the end of the year. As in the case of Marvel's Wolverine, unfortunately, this game isn't coming out anytime soon, as Insomniac Games currently have their time invested in about 20 more AAA projects they started years ago. All we know regarding Marvel's Wolverine is that, as I've mentioned before, the game has quite a bit of similarities with the upcoming Spider-Man 2. In gameplay, it's an action RPG adventure and an open world game with a totally different story as opposed to its films.
After 3 centuries of the Tokugawa's repressive rule, the Black Ships appeared without warning.
Number 7, we have Team Ninja's new IP since the last game. Assuming you're not keen to this one, the folks are bringing another samurai-style game called Rise of the Ronin. This is a PlayStation 5 exclusive by Team Ninja and Koei Tecmo together, promising a multi-layered story that showcases the 19th century-ish Japanese Ronin life. Rather action simulation. Here's a trailer. The game's now coming out early to mid next year for the PlayStation 5 only.
Let's carve a new future. Your time has come.
Tekken 8, on the other hand, following one of the longest running franchises out there, y'all know, was last time teased during the EVO 2022 last year, with Kazuya making a pretty brief appearance, and if you've been waiting on that ever since, we just got a new trailer for it, a couple of new trailers, reconfirmation that the game's releasing by the end of the year, possibly October, with all characters being built from the ground up, and a PC to next generation console exclusive. Check it out.
Bebida número 1 en el mundo. Je te prouverai que le thé est supérieur.
Number 9, we have Like a Dragon 8, which is the sequel to the 7th mainline game in the series, now following its protagonist Ichiban, in addition to bringing back Kazuma. The sequel, we know, will retain the same RPG gameplay alongside the open world. Dragon Eye has been in the making for over 3 years and said to be coming out early to mid next year for the PlayStation 5, possibly later on for other consoles as well. Number 10, revealed last through the PlayStation State of Play, we have the Korean developers Shift Op's previously almost 4 years old Project Eve, which was then retired last year to Stellar Blade. This game is an Unreal Engine 5 science fiction based Souls-like hack and slasher and a PlayStation 5 exclusive as well. As of last year, technically a PC to PlayStation 5 combination, as most games are lately, and definitely one of the most anticipated games of this year. Check it out in case you missed it.
절대적이야. 이 레거시는 믿을 수 없어요. 그렇죠? 그렇다고 말해줘요.
여기 있는 누구나 그 손길이 닿은 적은 없어. 모두 버려진 거야.
그건 신상 모독이에요. 릴리, 부탁해. 난 이러기 위해 태어난 거야.
시리얼 넘버 확인. 성소 활성화.
From a few months ago by NCSoft, the South Korean developers, we've got over here a third-person post-apocalyptic semi-open-world shooter going by the name Project Triple L, which is not to be confused with L, though this game is one part mech shooting, a little bit inspired by the Metro Last Light, and another part even Death Stranding. Other than that, we know that the game's a next-generation, possibly PlayStation 5 exclusive, and an Unreal Engine 5 due out next year. Number 12 by Kakao Games, the same company who helped globalize the game Ilion and a bunch of other games. We've got a brand new open world action MMORPG AAA. I'm almost sure a few of you have been waiting to hear more about this one, a game called ArcheAge 2. Well, a franchise that started life all the way back in 2013, their new game over here has supposedly been in development for over 3 years and set to be released for PCs and the next generation of consoles only early next year. With Marvel Spider-Man 2 set for release October 20th this year, the game just went live for pre-order for the price of $70, and if you haven't already heard, the new game's map will be roughly twice the size of the previous game. They added Queens, Brooklyn, and a bunch of other districts as well. You will be able to freely switch between Peter Parker and Miles Morales Spider-Man when exploring the game's open world. Anyway, to accompany the good news, we got a new trailer for it too.
We're going to heal the world.
Almost 3 years in, and already 3 delays as well, Pragmata stays as one of Capcom's most awaited, just for gameplay, awaited to be kind of frank, and one of the most anticipated games of the past few years. It just went on and got itself another new trailer, about maybe 5 seconds of gameplay. Well, I shouldn't spoil this, but if you haven't seen it, just take a look at the trailer yourself.
You're warm. Is there anything we can do? We just saw a broadcaster get eaten!
Coming up behind that, we have Eternights. This is a post-apocalyptic dating sim and an action game as well, as the company's first ever project, where we new technically take on a journey to find love through death. I mean, you guys remember the game Haven? It's kind of that, but a little less romantic. Or maybe not. Here's a trailer. Eternights is set to be coming to PCs and the PlayStation consoles only September 21st this year.
I love you.
We are Banishers. We end suffering for those who live.
Coming from the same developers of Life is Strange and the publishers of A Plague Tale games. Number 16 we have from December last year, something here called Banishers Ghosts of Eden. This is a story-heavy action RPG dual protagonist ghost hunting exploration. That's technically what the game's described as. We know it'll be coming to PlayStation 5 in addition to PCs November 7 this year. Anyway, to accompany the good news, we got a new trailer for it too. Take a look. On the other hand, we have Konami and Blooper Team's biggest project of a game to this day, bringing another Silent Hill 2 in the form of a remake, all since not just last year when it was revealed, but over 3 years of development already. Silent Hill 2 is probably Konami's biggest project as of last year. This game is not only being remade from the ground up, it's entirely redesigned in stages, story, and more.
I know why I needed you. But it's all over now. I don't need you anymore.
And last but not least, from earlier this year, revealed by IGN itself, we have a brand new Nikki gaming development ever since the beginning of January, taking place in the same universe of Goddess of Nikki game, the mobile game, but this time around a open world dressing or dress up sim, which is, as scary as it may sound, might just actually work. I don't know. Here's the trailer. This game's set to be coming out by the end of the year for the PlayStation and mobile devices only.